Hello, my dears. So, this is Maria Roslyn from Phoenix YouTube channel. So, today we'll be saying about test planning, the next phase in our STLC. So, yeah. So, this is the time to plan. So, we have analyzed the requirements, we have done the requirement analysis, we have the requirements in hand. No, we have created one KT document which is going to detail about the requirements that we have gathered. So after that, it is going to be our planning, which we should be making to proceed with our testing. So these will be the few of the questions that will be answered in two parts of this video. So we'll go about no, one by one in detail. So what is planning? What is actually IEEE standard? Why is test planning important? What are the steps to develop a test plan? What is a test plan? Who prepares it? What are the types of test plan? How does it look like? What are the sections in it? What are the pros and cons of having a test plan, and how does each section refer to? So yes, test plan is basically, I would say, a checklist. Making a checklist before you even start the process. So what is planning? Planning is the process of stating objectives and then determining the most effective activities or accomplishments necessary to reach the objective. So this could be a generalized definition of planning. So whatever the task we prepare for, or be it a habit that we are going to start, now before doing all that, we have should have a solid plan, like when are we going to start, how are we going to do it, how are we going to proceed. A plan that is well prepared, or a better plan or a good plan, is something that makes sure that your task is half done. So having said that, we are going to mostly speak about the test plan document, but where does this document jump from? So we have standards that has to be followed to prepare this test plan. So that is your IEEE standards. So this is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So this is the association or the organization that is giving you the standards to prepare any sort of document for that process in your software testing or your software development. So because we need a basic template which can be followed in all of the organizations. So it is not that a thumb rule that you have to definitely follow only this, but it is good to have these features in that template. You can add few, you can remove few. So I have listed a few of the sections from these publishers where these things has to be followed when you are preparing a test plan. So you can see the 29119 2013 part 1 for the concepts and definitions. Now you have the part 2 for test process, test documentation. Then you have something for your system test documentation and your software unit testing. So you have the numbers, you have the journals, you have the articles, you have the templates for that matter to prepare the test plan, and you can follow this to prepare your solid test plan. So now let us start planning. So what we are going to actually do in the testing process. So we are going to now discuss in detail about the test planning. So we will see that in detail. So you can see this woman very sad, and she's crying because she's saying no, thinking about test planning just for 2 minutes, and she started crying because it's that a tedious process. I should admit, in my experience also, even I've had an experience of preparing a test plan. It has almost taken 3 months to get an approval from the on-site management team. So it is a little tedious or a hectic process, I should admit, but it is a must process in your software testing. So why is test planning important? Because in agile methodology, as I said, that is something different that we are going to discuss. We do not have a solid plan and all, because as and when the requirements come, you prepare it as a user story and just you move on. But in a service level project where now you're committing for a project which is going to take place for say from 6 months to 1 year or more than that, definitely a test plan is a mandatory. So why is it so important? The first thing is that it guides our thinking. What is that it means? Because even before you start your testing, you should know like what are you actually going to do. So putting your thoughts together and to organize your testing. So test planning is definitely important. Then you have this as a means of communication. So as a testing team, it could be a 2-member team or a 50-member team, whatever it is. It is a means of communication so that everybody are in the same page, that the testers, the developers, the managers, everybody knows like what it is actually and how it is actually going forward. Then you have the managing change. So test planning, it also evolves, when then and there, when the new set of requirements pump in, your test plan also seem to change. But managing these changes, when you have a test plan, it becomes easy for us. So these are the main three important things which is important for having a test plan. Then you can see, the test plan, these are the questions that are going to be answered when you prepare a test plan. So when are you going to do it, how are you going to do it, who and all are going to do, why we are doing it, and where we are going to do. So these are, I should say, the interrogations what we are going to do when we are going to prepare our test plan. So what is a test plan? So this is a billion dollar question. Like, most of the times when we start our job as a junior resources, we end up in a or ambiguous situations where we say, no, okay, test plan is something that has to be done by the test lead or the test manager, so that we just have it as a document. But every tester should know like what is actually a test plan and why is it prepared and how it is going to be followed. So this is actually a document which is going to describe the scope, the approach, resources, the schedule of the testing activities. So we have jotted down few things which a test plan is going to have. Later we are going to discuss the actual template of a test plan which has been suggested by this IEEE, which we discussed in our earlier part of this presentation. So no, we're going to have the test items, we are going to have the testing tasks. We know the test design techniques, we are going to have the entry exit criteria, the risks, the deliverables, all of them put together in a documented format. So that is going to be your test plan. So that is going to be your mother document for your testing process throughout the project. So it is basically a record of test planning process. So that is your test plan, to put it in a brief explanation. So yes, we are going to start off with preparing a test plan. So as I already introduced to you, so it is this IEEE standards which is to be followed. So it is not a thumb rule. It is not like strictly you're going to follow all of the sections that has been mentioned in the IEEE test plan template, but it is good to have all of them, or at least majority of the topics. So after that, let's discuss about the types of test plans. So we have two major types. So one is your master test plan. So this is going to be the document that is going to describe in detail how the testing is being planned and how it will be managed across different test levels. So this is be a high level test plan, which is going to be your master test plan. Then we have the level test plan. So this is going to detail you on the testing activities that must be performed for every test level, okay, or sometimes the testing type. So you have number of testing types. You have the system testing, you have the integration testing, you have unit testing. So a test plan can be prepared for even all those types of testing. So that will be your uh, level test plan. So in testing level test plan itself, we have testing level specific test plan, we have testing type specific test plan. So what is testing level specific? It is going to be a test plan that is created at each level of testing. As I told you, it is going to be your unit testing or integration testing or your system testing, which is going to be at some point of time. So unit testing will be the first one, then we'll have the integration testing, then we'll have testing the whole system. So that will take place at different timelines. So that will be your testing level specific test plans. Then you have testing type specific test plans, which is going to be your performance testing type or your security testing, or the load testing or the stress testing that you're going to do to actually validate your software system. So that will be your testing type. So you can have the test plan for either your testing level, which is based on the timeline and the level of the completion of your software, or you can have it to be your testing type. So that everything put up in a one chart, so you can have this test plan designing. So you have this master test plan, then you have the phase wise test plan, then you say you can see this unit integration system acceptance, and then you have the test data design and the test case execution sequence. So all of them put together in your test plan. Then what are the steps to develop a test plan? So first you have to analyze the project or the product. So this is mostly covered in your requirement analysis. Then develop the strategy. Strategy is nothing but how you're going to do. So I should say planning is something like what you're going to do, and inside that you have the strategy which is going to explain how you're going to do. Then it is your testing objectives, then the environment. You have to determine the deliverables, what are the documents that you're going to develop and provide as a result of your testing. Then you have the schedule estimation, and you have the defined test criteria and your resource planning. So this is something to have all of this in your mind, or to have a picture of all these things before you start to develop your test plan. So we will discuss in detail about each of them in later point of this video. So this is the testing template that I was talking about. So this is the template that has been suggested by this IEEE 829 standard. So you have a test plan identifier, deliverables, you have the introduction, test task, test items, environmental needs, features to be tested, features not to be tested, your responsibilities, staffing and training, the schedule, your pass fail criteria, risks and contingencies, then your suspension and resumption criteria approvals. So this is going to be your test plan template which we are going to follow, or which I'm going to explain in your second part of the video in this software testing. So please follow this channel, keep subscribing to Phoenix channel. Be a phoenix, fly high so that no one even imagines to touch you. Thank you so much.